Good everyone. I hope you're having an amazing day. So in the last episode, I talked about the importance of the test data factory. I demonstrated how to write a test class. That's all great, right? Now, if you look at this code, right, I mentioned yesterday, right, when I did this, that we might have to. The reason why we wanted to use the test data factory so that we don't duplicate the code, right? Now, if you look at this, we still have a code duplication problem, right? So if you look at it, what we're doing is that we got two test methods. I mean, first of all, this is a stupid name, test one, test two, right? Um, so, so, um, so if you wanted to say run this test, right? Um, we got to change something, right? And what we have to change, say for instance, if you have a test, two tests like this, right? Don't worry about the naming convention. I mentioned that in yesterday's episode, right? It's a garbage name, right? I understand that, right? I intentionally did this for now. So we got this test create factory, create account. So basically, if you look at the code, we are expecting an account to be created for both the method, right? And right now we only got two methods, right? And we expect that accounts to be created, irrespective of which method runs. So looking at this code, right, you can see that there's a problem with the code duplication, right? Just straight away. Now, how to fix it? In Salesforce, we got something called test setup method, right? So which is pretty much used to create a test record once, and then you can access them in every test method in the test class, right? Um, so what we do, excuse me. Um, so you do test setup, just do static void method name. Let's just say startup. So what we do, I take this code. Excuse me. Don't know what happened. Started coughing all of a sudden. My apologies for that. And then we take this off. Okay. So what this will do, right? When the test runs, right, it will look at this test setup to say, oh, okay, so it's expecting an account to be created. So an account will be ready whenever this stuff get runs, and then you don't have to run this duplicate code, and we'll take care of it, right? So that's one of the. It's not only for accounts, right? If you wanted to say have a contact in place, or you have any other record creation you wanted to do, right? So you can pretty much do that under startup. I mean, the test setup. So let's run it, right? And let's see what happens. If you're getting a positive result or not, right? So that's more important to test it. Okay. Right. So it passed, right? So like I said, right, it creates it. And once you create an account, it's available for all the methods, right? Right now we got two methods, so it's available for it. So in this case, I'm saying, okay, create an account with the name test, so that gets created, and then I'm accessing it and I'm just appending it. So this method will just add underscore after the name, right? So, and that's pretty much how I'm testing it. So this is one of the things you can use it if you wanted to make sure that you're getting the test data in the fly, and it will save the code duplication. Now you see the code duplication is a mess, right? I hate code duplication. I hate to the core, right? At times I believe that we should have a policy in place. If a developer is making constant code duplication, should take it out from his paycheck. The moment we start doing it, you will say the code quality improves drastically, right? It's like desperate times, desperate measures, right? I mean, I'm not proposing to the business to do that, but obviously my suggestion is to train people, give them, opportunity to learn, right? I mean, rather than pointing fingers, right? I believe in encouraging them, motivating them, to learn, right? Because we all do mistakes, right? And you can't penalize people for doing it. If someone never done this stuff before, give them opportunity, right? If they failed first time, give them again. If they fail again, give them again, right? Try them 5, 6 times. Even after doing that, if you think they are duds, get rid of them. Simple as that, right? Because you are running a business, not a charity. So, you obviously have to be fair, right? You need to give people a chance. You need to give opportunity to improve because that's, I believe, it's a fair thing to do, right? And give them ample, plenty of opportunities, I would say. And if they still don't perform, yeah, you can show them the door, right? You have every right to do so. So yeah, this is one thing, right? Now, if you are using Visual Force Page, right, you can test your Apex controller using same test method. And so, I mean, I don't know if you guys still use Visual Force Page for new development. In my personal opinion, for any new development that's happening, please do not use Visual Force Page unless it's really critical, right? The critical in the sense I did mention when I at the beginning of this course, right? If you're a consultancy house or a small vendor, right, who got experienced Visual Force developer, it makes sense to use Visual Force Page. But if you are looking for the future, if you're looking for mobile already, then I would suggest you to use LWC. Now, when you use LWC, you can't use Apex to test it. Now, Apex will only comes into picture if you're using Apex, to wire the things to get the data. But if you're not planning to use Apex, if you're planning to use the LDC, Lightning Data Service, um, then you don't have to use the Apex for writing tests. Then normally for LWC, you will use Jest. That's the JavaScript framework. Pretty handy. I've used it most of the time. You can do a lot of stuff with the Jest. I'm not going to talk about Jest here. I'm just letting you guys know, right? If you are using LWC, obviously the first choice is always the Jest, right? So yeah, and LWC is pretty awesome. I would say its component-based development is pretty great. It's like a form. You put different components on it, and work your way around. And I hope that you guys have started using LWC. I mean, I do understand that you can't use LWC for every scenario because some of the things are still not supported. You might have to still use Aura framework, but that's all good, right? You can work with both at the same time, right? Mix and match. So that's pretty much I wanted to talk about in terms of testing. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I really encourage you guys to pay more attention to testing because I do understand, right? Developers, we are not really great testers, right? I mean, we think everything from a tech point of view, whereas a tester normally thinks from a user experience point of view. I mean, I'm not saying every developer does that. Some developers are pretty great when it comes to user experience, but I've been very bad when it comes to user experience. Testing. I used to test from a back in the days. I mean, I used to test from a code perspective. I run my unit test and say, oh, it works fine. User experience, user will say, well, it's not, it's not really great when it comes to experience. But yeah, you've implemented a functionality. That's great. But it should be pleasant for user to user, right? I mean, like for instance, if you are someone who been using Excel, right, and you move them to Salesforce, and if you give them an experience much worse than Excel, then obviously they will not use it, the Salesforce, and that's like an overkill, right? You asked them to buy a system and then you converted them to use Salesforce, but the experience was so horrible, right? Because no one has done actually the user experience testing. The user decides, bugger all, I don't care, I'm not going to use it, right? So that's not really great. So testing comes in different flavors. What we're talking at this stage is a unit testing, but the user experience testing, user acceptance testing, they all plays a very important role, in my opinion. That's pretty much, ladies and gentlemen, I wanted to talk about today. I hope you guys have an amazing Wednesday. Adios.